The previous chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen left us with one of the most, if not the most, jaw-dropping cliffhangers the series has ever dropped, as Yuta Okkotsu managed to give the King of Curses, Ryomen Sukuna, a taste of his own medicine. With a single word, the special-grade Jujutsu sorcerer was able to use Sukuna's own devastating signature technique, Cleave, to put an end to the ruthless curse user once and for all. So, did Yuta's gambit work? Is this the last time we'll be seeing the King of Curses? Well, stick around until the end of this video as we give you the lowdown on the latest installment of Gege Akutami's sensational saga about sorcery. It goes without saying that there will be full spoilers ahead for Jujutsu Kaisen 251. You've been warned, guys, so let's get straight into it. What to expect in Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 251. Jujutsu Kaisen's latest installment opens right where we last left off, with Yuta Okkotsu and the most powerful sorcerer in history at a standstill. Sukuna holds Yuta's copied curse technique embedded katana in one hand. A split second after, the special-grade Jujutsu sorcerer activated it, Sukuna's trademark Cleave technique. A crisscross of slashes start to form around the King of Curses' face, and all he can do at this moment is be in awe of what Yuta just did and ask himself when the kid was able to copy his own technique. Meanwhile, Yuta, ever the calculating sorcerer, tells his opponent that in spite of all his martial prowess, Sukuna is still unable to lock his full potential due to his failure to retrieve his final finger, the last cursed object containing his soul. Let's not forget that Yuta isn't alone inside his expanded domain, as Yuji immediately follows up with a solid uppercut that connects right on the King of Curses' jaw. This punch is significant to say the least, as Yuji's strikes have the ability to weaken the bond between Sukuna and Megumi's connection. Of course, Sukuna being himself, he just eats this punch and welcomes it with a smirk. He fully acknowledges that his opponents are worthy of facing him, commenting that they'd make quite a meal for him when all is said and done. Yuta's not done with his offense too, as he doesn't risk Sukuna recovering from their barrage and follows up Yuji's punch with an open palm strike that lands right on the King of Curses' midsection. All the while, Yuji grabs a hold of Sukuna's head and deals the powerful curse user a devastating knee to the face that would give MMA fighter Ben Askren flashbacks about his fight with Jorge Masvidal. Yuji's assault is cut short though, as one of the strongest sorcerers in history's arms sneaks behind JJK's pink-haired protagonist and wraps his head around it. In the clinch, Sukuna touches Yuji and activates Cleave. The Jujutsu High Freshman can only recoil as the technique cuts and slashes him all over, but thanks to his recent mastery of reverse curse technique, Yuji is able to power through Sukuna's attack in spite of internal hemorrhaging. In turn, Yuji turns the fight into a classic street fight as he uses the blood gushing from his mouth to spit in Sukuna's face, distracting him enough for Yuta to step in and land another uppercut on Sukuna. Man, Sukuna's jaw is really getting the business in this chapter. The impact from the punch makes the King of Curses lose his grip on Yuji. The former vessel of Sukuna musters up all his reserves as he tries to get up from the ground and heal himself with his reverse curse energy. All the while, he tells himself that this is a make-or-break moment. Yuji has to take down Sukuna and free Megumi during this battle. At the same time, Sukuna realizes that the battles he's had since the start of the Shinjuku Showdown are starting to take a toll on him. He can feel his cursed energy output decreasing, and his control of Megumi's body weakening as the bout continues. The Jujutsu sorcerers aren't giving Sukuna even a tenth of a second to recover, though as Rika rushes in, grabs the evil curse user and hurls him away, Yuji, now recovered, catches the King of Curses with a high kick to the face. All it takes is a split second for both Yuji and Yuta to see that Sukuna is going for a hand seal. They immediately realize that the King of Curses has gotten desperate. He's deactivated his hollow wicker basket. In exchange, Sukuna's cursed energy can be diverted to using the same technique he employed to turn Gojo into Thanksgiving turkey, the world-bisecting dismantle. In exchange, however, the most powerful sorcerer in history is also leaving himself open to the sure hit effect of the copied curse technique Yuta embedded within all-encompassing unequivocal love, that being the angel's cursed spirit destroying Jacob's ladder. But Yuta and Yuji had accounted for this event during their pregame. They knew Sukuna would do something like this if push comes to shove, so they hastily rush towards the weakened curse user and prevent him from completing his hand seals. Rika and Yuji grab Sukuna's arms while Yuta lunges in for an attack. The special-grade Jujutsu sorcerer connects with a straight that pierces Sukuna's abdomen, but his opponent manages to grab Yuta's arm with one hand and his forehead with another. And as expected from Jujutsu Kaisen's most ruthless character, Sukuna literally rips off Yuta's right arm and activates Cleave on the Jujutsu sorcerer's forehead, which sends him recoiling back. Yuta's not down for the count just yet, as he uses reverse curse technique to heal his injuries by instinct. He grabs another sword from his domain and declares that he won't leave an opening for Sukuna to do anything. The special grade Jujutsu sorcerer rushes toward his opponent as Sukuna greets him back with another help of dismantle. This doesn't deter Yuta, however, as he notices that the slashes from Sukuna's technique have become significantly weaker than before. Now he has nothing to fear from the monster that killed his mentor, even if Yuta gets in close contact with him. Yuta prepares his stance, ready for another salvo against the King of Curses. At that moment, though, Sukuna's taken aback when he feels the blood that Yuji spat on his face earlier popping and bursting as the Jujutsu High Freshman activates the cursed energy within it from a distance. At that same time, Yuta successfully cuts off one of Sukuna's arms. Yuji flashes back to when they had a meeting before this fateful clash. At Jujutsu High, he tells his companions that he's read Yuki Tsukumu's journal containing notes about cursed spirits. In doing so, he has learned that it's basically impossible for two souls to completely merge when they inhabit a single body. Joso has his doubts about this, telling his little brother Yuji that perhaps he just got lucky when Sukuna possessed him and completely left his body when the King of Curses' soul transferred to Megumi. Still, Yuji reassures everyone that Yuki's notes are perfectly valid. He concludes that when two souls inhabit a single body, one of them can only sink deep within it but never completely disappear or merge with the other. Barring someone like Mahito, who has the innate ability to merge souls and twist them, Yuji can use what he learned from Yuki's journal to help him free Megumi's soul from Sukuna's grasp. Hanakurusu, the reincarnated form of the legendary sorcerer known as the Angel, tells Yuji that although Jacob's Ladder, her innate technique that dispels cursed spirits, could kill Sukuna's host body, separating the link between his and Megumi's soul would make it more precise and give Yuji's friend a better chance of surviving the technique. Back in the present, Sukuna's pinned with Rika and Yuji subduing his remaining arms and hands. Yuta takes this opportunity to finally pull off their plan and call out maximum output, Jacob's Ladder. A beam of light bears down on Sukuna from above, fully engulfing him, with Rika and Yuji managing to get away just in time. The King of Curses almost passes out from the direct hit, but the sorcerers of Jujutsu High aren't taking any chances. Yuta immediately follows it up by stabbing one of Sukuna's arms with a katana, with Rika rushing in from behind to keep two of his arms in place. Meanwhile, Yuji rushes in with a fully charged fist to separate Megumi's soul from Sukuna's. Yuji lands a clean blow on the King of Curses, activating his soul-separating technique. With the blow connecting, Yuji's mind is transported to Megumi's consciousness. The Jujutsu sorcerer's plan worked flawlessly, despite the odds being stacked against them. Unfortunately, they forgot to account for one thing. Megumi Fushiguro himself, after witnessing the death of his sister at Sukuna's hands, doesn't want to fight and get his body back from the King of Curses. He's become too depressed to go on, groveling in front of Yuji and telling his friend that he's had enough. Outside in the real world, the few seconds it took for Yuji to see a crushed Megumi was enough for Sukuna to utter the necessary chants to unleash his most devastating technique, the world-bisecting dismantle. Yuta, Yuji, and Rika are hit at point-blank range. An invisible slash runs diagonally across the special-grade Jujutsu sorcerer's entire midsection as he and his friends fall to the ground while all-encompassing unequivocal love crumbles around them. Sukuna's not smiling though, as he stares blankly into space right after activating his technique. The King of Curses, now weaker than we've ever seen him, notices that he's been impaled from behind with a sword. He turns his head and sees a short-haired, scarred woman clad in all black, a presence he would have felt if Maki Zenin didn't have a heavenly restriction placed on her. Maki stares at him with the same coldness she showed right before cutting down each and every one of the Zenin's attack dogs, and seeing this, Sukuna smiles. Our thoughts about Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 251. Akutami-sensei gave us another roller coaster ride with Jujutsu Kaisen's 251st chapter, and it seems that we're going to get another action-packed clash in the next installment of this amazing shonen manga when it releases. This time we're going to have a match that we haven't seen since Toji Fushiguro went against Satoru Goju. It's the King of Curses versus the embodiment of anti-sorcery, Maki Zenin. Interestingly enough, it seems that this battle between Sukuna and the Jujutsu sorcerers is based less on hitting the strongest sorcerer in history with a single knockout blow than it is about whittling away at his reserves. As we fans know by now, Satoru Goju managed to lower Sukuna's cursed energy output output to the point that he had the same amount as Yuta's by the same Sukuna faced him. For context, Goju himself admits that Yuta has twice the amount of cursed energy as he does. Now, since Sukuna's upcoming duel with Maki is reminiscent of Toji vs Satoru, we can probably say that with the beating the King of Curses took at the hands of Yuta, Yuji, and Rika, his cursed energy output would now almost likely be at the same level as Satoru when he first faced Toji. This implies that Maki has a good chance of defeating, or at the very least going toe-to-toe with Sukuna in this condition. Remember, Toji was able to decisively beat Satoru then. He only lost when the white-haired Jujutsu sorcerer finally unlocked the power of his 6 eyes and learned reverse curse technique some time after their initial bout. Unlike Satoru, however, Sukuna appears as though he's already on his last legs. He's already gone through a gauntlet of powerful Jujutsu sorcerers, not to mention that he ate up a direct hit from Jacob's ladder. As far as we know, there's no way he can recover his original cursed energy output in such a short time, especially while facing someone of Maki's caliber. But perhaps Yuki's notes miss something. Take this with a grain of salt, but it could be possible that Sukuna will completely absorb Megumi's soul and, in turn, his cursed energy. This will allow the King of Curses to make up for all the cursed energy he has spent during his 2 previous battles, and maybe even grant him easier access to Megumi's 10 Shadows technique. Still, we can't discount the fact that Maki might be even more powerful than Toji. We've seen her single-handedly eradicate an entire clan of Jujutsu sorcerers, some of them semi-grade 1 and above without breaking a sweat. Plus, she's basically invisible to curse users like Sukuna, so who's to say she can't make easy work of the King of Curses? As for Yuji, Yuta, and Rika, this is yet another case of Akutami-sensei taking us fans for a loop. Personally, we'd prefer it if their ultimate fates are revealed in the next chapter, instead of leaving us hanging the way he did with Nobara Kukusaki or Aoi Todo. If you ask us, though, we're optimistic that Yuta and Yuji are going to survive Sukuna's world-bisecting dismantle. After all, the special-grade Jujutsu sorcerer did note that Sukuna's slashes had already gotten significantly weaker even before he activated his ultimate technique. Add the fact that both Jujutsu High students have already mastered their own respective reverse curse techniques, and there's a good chance that they might just make it out alive. Not only that, but Yuji, Yuta, and Rika might still have enough juice in them to stay in the battlefield. Let's not forget that they're dead set on exercising Sukuna. If this comes to pass, then it's a sure bet that we're going to see the King of Curses in a 5-way deadlock against Jujutsu High's prodigious sorcerers. Now, that might seem like a boring beatdown waiting to happen, considering Sukuna's already on the ropes after going through Satoru and the Yuji-Yuta tandem earlier. But when you consider the possibility that the strongest sorcerer in history's soul might fully merge with Megumi's to replenish his cursed energy reserves, it might just be enough to level the playing field during this upcoming showdown at Tokyo's fabled entertainment district. Honestly, we'd be lying if we told you we're not worried for the ruthless curse user. Behind that arrogant smile and his voracious appetite for battle, it's clear that this is the first time we're seeing Sukuna in a situation where even he isn't sure he'd come out on top. In any case, Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 252 can't arrive soon enough, and it's frustrating in the best way possible. What did you think of Jujutsu Kaisen 251? Any theories about what will happen next? Let's talk about it in the comments section below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get the latest manga and anime content. We'll see you in the next video, guys.